of the vacancy board meeting if necessary.
You have to set the date and time of it.
Well, he's gonna.
He set the date and time.
If that's not agreeable, you guys.
I'm good with it, JD.
Okay, yeah.
I was good with it 10 minutes ago.
Ed?
Yep. How do you vote?
Tammy,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Doug,
Yeah,
Ed,
Yes. Okay. These poor people.
I know, I was thinking the same thing.
The Hewitt subdivision.
You're in this township.
I dare you to say no.
Yeah. We looked at it last time.
Jerry came and looked
They
at
got
it.
the,
She said, okay.
They got the signatures that they needed.
They have a claim from the sewage.
Motion to approve the Hewitt subdivision.
I'll second it.
Ed, did you make the motion?
Yes. Doug seconded it.
I just have a question. Never mind, I just seen it. I just had to look for the sewage disposal system. That was what Jerry told me to look at. Okay.
I was gonna call the vote, but one of the supervisors.
Well, I am going to suggest, after this debacle, that this board consider putting the planning commission back in place, at least for the purpose of reviewing subdivisions, and that was one of their main jobs. It took a lot of the work, of that kind of work, off the board. It had a purpose for that.
Didn't you guys appoint Jerry Zwicker to that as a consultant for that
She
purpose?
was helping write a process. Okay, this isn't signed up here. And this has to be signed. Has to be signed to all 5 parties.
They said after you approved it's when we took it to the magistrate to get it signed.
Somehow. So you get something like
Is she gonna get something?
I don't know what's
Well,
happening.
let's,
she's coming back.
How do you vote? We got a motion and a second to approve the Hewitt subdivision.
Tammy,
Yeah.
Kathy,
Yes.
Doug,
yes,
Ed,
Yep. If they still wanna
Do you want to
own
sign it
property
while
in
you're
this
here?
township.
Well, unfortunately, my grandpa's owned property in this township for 200 years.
Okay. Award ADS co-op bids to Sucoat 224 and Greer limestone number 67 for $24 a ton and number 8 for $275 a ton.
I'll move that. These bids being awarded, I'm assuming they're low bids.
Yes, they are. I'll second it.
A motion and a second.
Is this for,
It's a co-op.
is this for Township or?
Yes. It's for oil and it's for sand.
It's all state approved?
Yeah.
Thank you.
How do you vote?
Tammy,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes,
Kathy,
Both of
Yes.
those are
And-
gonna be-
Yep.
it's a lot harder.
Washington County Tax Collection Study of Earned Income Tax Collection System. I don't know what that is.
Look at that. Those springs and- It's been next week,
That's a solar panel. I don't understand.
I emailed all that stuff to him.
Do you know anything about that?
No.
Oh, this was the, they wanted us to give an opinion of, I read this, part of it anyway. Of if we wanted to continue the way we were going, and then they had an opinion. They wanted to keep the system that we have, I think. There's a resolution, yeah. I suppose we don't have to do anything if we don't want to.
Well, I don't like it because it also talks about Peters Township within.
That's just a sample.
Sample.
I don't understand it. I make a
Move
motion
on.
to table
All
it.
right. Where we at? Notice of intent for Tunnel Ridge reading regarding phase 2 pump station.
There's a letter in there that
It's-
Tunnel Ridge is
it's
going to go under the phase 2 pump station. And we basically just need to sign off saying that they can come look at everything.
I would like to review this some more, so just some more.
When are they doing it? Do we know that?
I believe anytime in the next 30 days and 2 years. It was rather broad.
I'd like to read it. I'm not gonna do it.
No action? Table it? You want to table it so it comes back up?
Yeah, make a motion to table.
I'll second. Motion and a second to table the Tunnel Ridge notice of intent. How do you vote?
Kathy,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Doug,
Yeah.
Ed,
Yeah. Award bids from JMPP.
As listed. Quick for you.
That's for stone and culvert pipes.
Move we approve as listed.
Second.
Motion and a second. How do you vote?
That must be
Do
per
we have the
foot.
papers? Probably.
Still cheap. I wonder
I don't
if
know
that's per
what
ton
it's
delivered or
saying.
just per ton.
Joint municipal, what's it called, purchasing program? County.
Go on.
It's the county bid.
Okay.
How do you vote?
Tammy,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Doug,
Yep.
Ed,
Yep. Execute redevelopment authority contract for the police vehicles.
So moved that we can do that.
Second.
Discussion, how do you vote?
Kathy,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yeah.
Doug,
Yes.
Ed,
Yep. Approval of 2 campground permits
So moved.
for Doug Thomas on both.
These are renewals, correct?
yes.
Yeah.
So moved.
Paperwork and all that's in order.
Yeah.
Got a motion? Anybody second?
Second.
How do you vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Tammy,
Abstain.
Ed,
Tammy, do you have a personal
I
conflict?
have a campground.
I don't think that,
I didn't
I
vote
don't
on the
think
other
that
ones.
excludes you.
I didn't vote on the
If
other
you were
ones.
voting on your own,
I know, I just abstained before. I just,
okay.
Yes, but I disagree with them. You, I said this last time. You guys keep putting me in this bad spot. Close water sewer petty cash. It's at $61.89 and
Yeah.
deposited it to the bank.
we haven't used that for almost a year.
So moved.
Close petty cash. Got a motion, I'll second. How do you vote?
Tammy, Kathy,
Yes.
Doug,
Yeah.
Ed,
Yeah. Add Pliget Prime to current Pliget account.
A gentleman came in and from the state and spoke to us. We have the Pliget accounts. If we added Prime to it, we'd actually get a little better, interest rate. Every little bit helps.
I'll make that as a motion, even though it doesn't amount to much.
Got a motion?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. How do you vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Ed,
Yeah. Refund general fund from liquid fuels for road worker wages and for maintenance and plowing, $19,627.41.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. You seconded?
Yes.
How do you vote?
Tammy,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Ed,
Yeah. Donation for Three Rivers Festival.
Eric, what did we give last time through?
Last time you gave 2,500,
Jackie?
which is half of what you gave the year before.
Okay.
And I know that, I guess she left.
Yeah,
Parks
I was
and
gonna
Rec-
say Jackie was gonna,
Yeah. It needs $5,000 to run, I do know that. Where they would seek the other 2,500, I don't know if they would. So.
The last time, the, Tom Greaves was kind enough to get the
They were,
Sportsman's Club to donate.
yep.
Have you sought any more of that funding?
The fire department is not seeking any funding for
Oh.
it. Parks and Rec is,
Oh, Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec is discussing going in with the fairgrounds,
yeah.
kinda doing a joint. It might not be an all-day thing again, but only doing it towards the evening. It's still a kind of a community event, but not as in-depth as it was before.
It's an expensive ordeal for the fire department. I think we can do our share to help them out. I'd like to move that we give the $5,000.
What
We're
did-
through our Parks and Rec, up to 5. I mean, I probably won't pay for it.
I'm confused though. How did Parks and, it used to go to the fire department and now you're funneling it through the Parks and Rec?
It was, originally, it's a township event. And the fire department was just a conduit to make it happen. It wasn't a fire department event. We were doing the legwork and we were signing the contracts and getting the stuff. So the money funneled through and back out just to the fire department. Now it's gonna be happening through Parks and Rec.
So the fire department is not, you're still gonna be involved.
Yes. Not the main player.
You're not the,
Right. Parks and Rec expressed interest and there's been conversations with the, fair board about that, and yeah.
oh, okay. It's still a fundraiser for you though, or no? You,
Depends on how they do it. If we sell food, we could raise a little bit of money that day, you know, if we
Yeah.
don't, we're still gonna have involved in the community.
Mary Lee Dutton and I actually discussed it the other day, and they're discussing, ways to do it, but they don't have anything fleshed out. I thought Jackie had a number, but obviously she had to leave.
oh,
Still early, we can do it next time.
we can wait. Okay. Doug's motion died for lack of a second.
That's gonna be an all-time
That
record.
seems to be a running theme
Yeah.
tonight. All right. Act 172 resolutions.
Yep, we are waiting on information from the fire departments to be obtained.
You're working
No,
on
you
it?
are not.
Oh,
The
Oh, we-
secretary received all the information
She didn't
2 months
receive it
ago.
from Claysville.
to have it done.
She didn't receive it from Claysville,
Okay,
is what she said.
let's take care of it, West Alexander, in Dono Township, in West Alexander. You've got the if they don't want it, they don't have to provide you the information.
Okay, I just know that we got an email from them, so she forwarded on an email, I don't have, it, that, she was waiting on information for the membership list, I guess. but I will, and that's what she was waiting on from Claysville for
We
some
don't have to have
information.
both on.
No, there's,
They can be written separately?
Yeah, there's a
that
list
is
to be
not the
separate.
case. The town, you have to pass the resolutions that say what it is. Okay, you've done what you need to do according to, we're gonna do it. Now you need to pass 2 different resolutions, one for each department saying what the participation levels are that make it.
Right, they're questioning they had some questions on they were having a meeting. They weren't sure what they were gonna do for eligibility,
Right.
so that's what,
What I'm saying is, I don't think you should hold up one department. because
Do
another
they have to be the
department-
same, Eric?
They don't have to be the same.
It can be
No,
different.
and
It
that's
can be
why
different.
there's,
I think we different
yeah, there can be
requirements.
different levels for different
well, then we'll
departments.
get the one typed up for West Suffolk.
We have sample resolution?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we'll do West Suffolk's, and then we'll,
They ask for our
Am I
input.
not correct, though, that can't go on this year because the notarized list wasn't given 45 days prior to the billing of the taxes?
Yeah, it's not for 2018.
Yeah,
Right.
we did.
It's 2019 tax year, so next year is whenever those will come into play, the
Right.
rosters and the
As long
levels.
as you give the list 45 days prior.
Right, that's right.
But we have to pass a resolution,
Yeah,
yes.
and you also have to develop an application for the property tax refund that the people can put in too. So you need to do that also.
Yes.
Okay. Review suggestions from the Donald Township auditors. Anybody have any suggestions?
I don't know, I'm just looking at it right now, first
I,
time I've
I
seen
will
it.
have, I've not finished it, I'm only partway through.
I didn't get a copy, so.
We'll leave it on the list.
You want
Or
to table it, or?
Yeah, I'm thinking no action put on it again next month, you can table if you want to table.
Huh?
She said the table's getting heavy.
Pretty full, isn't it? Set the date for public meeting regarding tax abatement. Let's table that and get a full board and a solicitor first. Executive session.
I don't see any need to.
I'll make a motion to go to executive session.
Second,
How do you vote?
Doug,
No,
Kathy,
yes.
Tammy,
No,
Ed,
Yeah.
we're glad to go when we get somebody that can give us legal advice back there and we don't have it.
Okay. Additions to the agenda. Public comment.
I got a couple comments and a couple
Wait,
questions.
hold on. This gentleman had his hand up.
Can something be done about the gun range? 7 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, you can't do nothing. It's like sitting in World War III.
your name, sir?
Kenneth Lislin, and everybody on my road agrees to the same thing.
Where do you live?
70 Waynesburg Road,
Down Wingsburg, right?
with an mile radius, sounds like World War III.
And some days it's worse than others,
Yes.
depending on the way the winds.
You
I live
can't
on
sit
Highland
my porch
Avenue.
and have a cup of coffee
And
without
I live on
rays.
Highland, and there's times,
What time did you say it starts?
I was out there probably 7 o'clock in the morning last Saturday. I just had it, and so I called the cops. 10 o'clock at night, we're sitting there watching a movie. Listen to this.
I had a phone call from another resident today about the same issue.
There's been
I think
times,
everybody's dealing with it, everybody on the road.
there has been times that it's actually happening in the middle of the night. I've woken up and heard it when I'm up in the middle of the night. I don't know if people are over there trying to laser sights or something, but you're hearing that gunshot at midnight, if you are on a bad night.
That's not something that should be around here, it should be something in the desert.
how
not
long have
next to
you
a
folks
town.
been here?
We've lived here for
years?
9 years.
Are you- Because we had, that was about 3 years ago, we had them, they blew up the Tannerite.
Yeah, we,
Chucked the windows over on Main Street.
yeah,
Mhm.
but they're getting bigger and bigger, longer hours, more stuff, and that's it.
I don't know, again, John,
I don't, sir.
I don't think there's any regulations that we can,
No, I mean, what they're doing serves legitimate purpose, so it doesn't fall under disorderly conduct. And we've had discussion before, but it's my position that none of our ordinances apply to noise.
But
I mean,
the
that's
people in this
probably-
town don't have
probably-
rights.
It's not a
Probably what would
nuisance.
be, what's that?
That's not a nuisance?
7 days a week.
No, sir, noise does not fall under
I-
that. Noise is not one of the things that's defined under
I
nuisance.
thought,
My suggestion would be, if I may, my suggestion would be maybe for one or two members of the board to go to the business and have a discussion.
yeah, I was gonna say, I thought at one point there was kind of a gentleman's agreement that like Sundays they weren't.
They were, yeah, so.
And certain hours.
Certain hours on Sunday, yeah, and Mr. Barton said that if the board or one of the churches was just to give him something in writing and say, look, please don't do anything before 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock on Sunday or this or special conditions. But nobody ever approached him. Now, he did that anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean.
But we've gotten
it
away
just
from
is-
it.
But yeah, I think
Okay.
we should start with conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just out of hand. I mean, it sounded like you're in World War III every day. It's ridiculous.
We were reviewing the noise ordinance, wasn't there? 85 dB?
That was in the.
That was in
That was in the zoning, that wasn't.
Yeah, but no,
actually-
wasn't part of our ordinances.
No.
No, sir. No, sir. But I will go back and, I remember the conversation
I
you're talking
mean,
about.
I don't remember, but I
I'll go back
thought.
and check.
JD.
No, sir, please.
If I recall, Doug, you were on the board then, when they first came and propositioned the petition, that whatever, there was discussion. I thought they set hours of operation.
I believe
He
it
was
was.
flexible, you guys approved it, whatever those, so you just have to go back and see what those hours.
I can't remember, but I
hours of
was thinking
operation
8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night was the cutoff.
I don't remember, but it doesn't,
Their
I didn't-
website says 10 in the morning.
doesn't sound
10
like
at
7
night.
to 10, but I know there was hours, designated hours of operation that they did.
I think it was a voluntary, like you said, a voluntary thing.
Yeah, it was kind of. We'll try.
I know it's a pain in the butt.
I'll
Everybody
go.
here agrees on it. Everybody loves guns.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah. Dave Ely, Shaler Road. A few meetings ago, someone asked the board why the comp time for the police department wasn't paid. And I believe Kathy, you answered you didn't get to it yet. Am I correct?
A couple meetings ago?
A few meetings ago.
No, it's been a good, yeah,
Well, a few meetings ago, whatever it might be, last year.
probably, yeah.
All right, well, I'll take one step further. Why wasn't all the departments paid the comp time? Why was the road department the only one?
I believe, didn't you come up with the Federal Fair Labor Standards Act, that the police carry a longer time period than the road crew?
I didn't look at that. I just was
I'm
looking at the
confused.
road.
What do
We
you
had-
ask? What are you asking, Dave?
Well, the problem is there's a lot of grievances, obviously, and the comp time is one, all right?
And it's
Why,
currently,
why was the road
litigation.
department paid the comp time and not all departments paid the comp time?
we could not discuss, it's in the court,
Okay, so
As we
we'll discuss it later?
I'm assuming.
Okay, all right. When was the audit report, when the forensic audit was done? Was it September they gave the report?
We never had a forensic audit, we just had a regular audit.
Last year?
Yes,
Yeah, it was just regular.
Regular audit?
yes,
Where you guys were trying to find anything you surcharged the previous board with?
yes. Okay.
Well, when was it done? September? When did, who was it, Kissinger and,
Yeah, Palermo, something.
did they present the report in September?
I don't know what month it was.
Probably
I
September.
think September.
Okay, well, why on Makel's bill on 10/31/18, we're still trying to find ways to surcharge the previous board?
I don't know nothing about it.
Okay, we'll get back to that.
When was that, Dave?
October 31st, it was on Makel's bill for October 31st.
It must have been directed by some combination of members here. I didn't have any part in it.
I didn't either.
No.
I didn't either.
And then we need to find out how that bill, how that came
We'll,
to be.
we'll get back to that. All right, there was a lot of talk the last couple meetings about Doug sitting in the audience. If you have a 5-member board, what makes a quorum? How many number makes a quorum?
3.
If Doug would have been sitting at that table, Jens would have had a quorum. That's why he chose to sit in the audience. just making clarifications here, you know? Another thing is, the big thing now is Kathy's not having any departments and being left out of everything. How come that wasn't good for a year ago whenever Mr. Teagarden was left out of everything? What's the difference?
First of all, I'll say that a large percentage of that was by his own choosing. But second of all, I will also say, I personally attempted to include him in everything.
He did, he's right.
No, it's not right. I never said, don't put me on any committees, Ed, but I was not put on any committees. That's okay, that was your choice.
Yeah.
It wasn't me, I didn't go say.
No, I'm talking about correspondence and thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. I mean, the point, I think, I'm not sure, but I think you said about me being appointed to committees, I just wasn't.
Okay.
Whatever.
But for the whole last year, Mr. Teagarden was kept out of everything pretty much. But that was okay then. But now since Kathy's being kept out of everything, it seems to be an issue for some people.
I don't think she's kept out of everything, Dave. I
Okay.
think, I don't know of anything.
How are we gonna rectify this problem in the township?
Which problem?
You name it. You name it.
What do you want, Dave?
I want this township to be run like it was supposed to,
Okay.
you know? I want the harassment and the conflict to stop. That's what I want. You know? And I said it before, and I'll say it right now. The harassment and the conflict is because of one person sitting on that board, and that's Kathy. She took a picture of my property, and ever since she took a picture of my property, that's when everything started with me. Okay? Whenever I was a supervisor in June of 2017. And then it continued on, and it still continued on. And, you know, my feeling is Mr. Teagarden was locked out of the office whenever Vince took over, all right? And this is just my opinion, it's not facts, it's just my opinion. When the road department couldn't come up with some kind of smoking gun for Ely Road to hang us on, because there was nothing to hang us on Ely Road, there was mistakes made. The biggest problem with Ely Road was the money was not paid out of Act 13 like it was supposed to. Now, I'll take the blame for part of that because I should have made sure that he got paid out of the proper accounts. But in return, what'd you do? You refunded refunded general fund out of Act 13 money. And that took care of the whole situation. So, I think, you know, a lot of the problem we're having with the road department and grievances right now is because the road department couldn't have a smoking gun to give us to hang the board with and surcharge us. I think some people wanted us surcharged so bad it wasn't funny. And then whenever that report happened, in September, whenever they gave the report and they said there was no misappropriating the funds and no missing money and no surchargeable offenses, then that was fine. And purely speculation on my part. I think Mr. Smith and Mr. Smith and Mrs. Imes at that point said, you know what, enough's enough. But I had a conversation with Mr. Maple right after the first of the year, and I point blank asked him why the attorney bills were so high. And he said because Mrs. Croft was instructing him on what to research and what not. And that's why he was still researching the surchargeable offenses. I think enough's enough. I really do.
Okay,
Could I have a turn?
hang on. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Any other public comment?
Betty Shingle.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say I can appreciate everybody upset about past things, but we can't keep going back there. We need to move forward. Let that stuff go and move on, or we're never going to get anything fixed. I'm sorry you feel that people have picked on you or taken pictures of your house, but that's when you were on the board. It's not now. I truly do not mean any disrespect to anyone. But we've got problems at hand.
Okay, anybody else?
Thank you.
Darren?
I just had a question that goes back to one that you had on Doug Thomas's, how you, every time that you get to that, you're like, I'm not gonna do this, but I'm just gonna vote no.
He doesn't believe in the permits, doesn't
Because
he?
you don't believe in the permit.
Right, I don't
You
think
know,
you should have to have the permit.
And then my wife abstains, and then you get, that's funny that you give her kind of a funny look whenever she abstains. But the reason why she abstains is because we have a campground, and I would love for her to make the motion to get rid of the whole bill, because it takes money out of people in the township trying to make a little bit of money, that the last board threw that in on another thing. And I just want to throw it out there that you can make that motion to get rid of that instead of just, I'll just vote no.
Yeah.
So, just for next meeting, that's the only reason.
Just as a point of defense, the fee part is a very small part, but the biggest part of that ordinance deals with regulations regarding safety of the people that are there. Talks about
Right.
distance between units, talks about numbering of units and where the number is supposed to be on. We've never enforced any of those regulations. Tom, have you, Don?
Yes, that's been enforced on me.
Yeah.
To make sure I paid it, absolutely, that was
But not the fee, but I'm
important.
talking
You can
about,
ask him,
I'm
because he's
talking
the one
about
that
the
enforced it.
rest of the safety regulations.
Wasn't safety, it was the money.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, there's other parts.
But what I'm saying, if you wanna throw your safety in, throw your safety in, but take the money out.
What did I enforce, Mr. Ives?
Yes, sir?
What did I enforce? I apologize, I didn't catch that.
On telling me that you were gonna pull my campground permit and have and if I didn't go pay the township.
That's not true, Mr.
That is exactly true.
No, sir.
Then you explain to me how, your point and how that worked then, because I must have not understood.
Don't even know what you're talking about, Darren.
You were
Last
right.
time you and I had a conversation about any of your properties, it was this property right over here.
That was the last time, we're
That
gonna go
was the
back some
last time
more.
we had a conversation, and that's a barn for your horses, correct?
That's correct.
And that's where your horses are now, you got a fence up?
I haven't been able to
Not
get them
running
there yet,
businesses
because
out of
I
there.
haven't been able to get the
Please don't
fence.
drag me or my
We're talking
department
about over
into
here.
whatever the personal issues are,
Did you?
please. That's all I'm
We're
gonna say.
talking about over here at the campground. Do you not remember that?
No, sir.
All right, it's public comment, it's not public argument.
Well,
It's
we're
public
good.
comment. You
That's,
made
I
your
told you
comment.
what I
got
needed
any
you to
other
know,
comment? Yeah.
and Doug shouldn't have got in the middle of that.
You got anything else?
I'm
You're
done.
good.
Was any
Who else?
work done on Grimes Road after the big slip?